All right, you guys know the deal by now. With every Warzone update comes a litany of changes that aren't included within the patch notes, and this Season 3.5 Reloaded is no different. So in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you 14 secret changes that are either going to save your life, give you more information, or provide a little clarity on the Warzone rank system that so many of us are loving. But a lot of these changes, like I mentioned, aren't mentioned anywhere. They're not mentioned in the patch notes. They're not mentioned on Twitter, and they're going to be changing your game. So if you learned something new, drop a like on this video. If you learned 2 things new, make sure you subscribe, because I have 12 videos storyboarded. Okay, none of them are gun videos. They are in-depth guides that are going to help you climb the ranks, whether it's how you communicate with your teammate, how you can find more enemies, an advanced movement guide. I haven't had this much content ready to go since Warzone 1 first dropped. So if you like OG, like Academy content, get up for it, because there's a lot of things in here that are going to be giving you the competitive edge over your opponents. Now, heading into number 1, like I mentioned, some of these are going to be in the patch notes, but they're like only if you notice them in the patch notes, if you went through a fine-tooth comb. This one isn't mentioned anywhere, but it's going to provide so much clarity, which is why it's number 1. Okay, so let's look at how the ranked system is actually working right now versus how it's intended to work. Okay, so the dream setup that they're going to end up having is that when you're in bronze, you can queue up and play with anyone from any rank at any time. The restrictions hit when you hit diamond. Once you hit diamond, you can only play with plus or minus 2 ranks. So when you hit diamond, you can queue up and play against people of gold, platinum, diamond, and crimson. However, that changes once again once you hit crimson. Once you hit crimson, you're only supposed to be able to play with people who are plus or minus 1 rank of you. Now, you may have noticed right now that is definitely not the case. You've seen clips and you've seen, players, pro players, playing against bronze people when they're in top 250. The reason they did this is because everyone started off this beta ranked season, which is what it is, in the same rank. Everyone started off right here in bronze, and we need to distribute the player base, because when people grinded overnight and 12 hours later were in diamond, they didn't have anyone to play with that were only in gold and crimson. There weren't enough players in the world. And so what they're doing is they're kind of loosening the skill base and the ranked matchmaking system. But you may have noticed, if you've been following people on Twitter, if you've been watching things recently, a lot of the guys in the top 250 have noticed a drastic change, and they're already starting to tighten it up. So it seemed like top 250 could play with anybody, and now it seems like top 250 lobbies are getting a little bit sweatier, and there's some really cool sites out there that allow you to track players and their SR and how much they're grinding and how much they're growing. And this is absolutely no disrespect, because a lot of these players are absolutely incredible. But you may have noticed, people's last sessions, you're seeing a lot of negatives. A lot of people's SRs are starting to be adjusted for when they were so inflated. And those players are now probably starting to realize, oh crap, I have to lock it in a little bit more. And that's no disrespect that anyone that had a bad session, but the lobbies are getting tougher. And when the ranked season ends and we head into season 4, everyone that was top 250, iridescent, and crimson are all going to be relegated back to diamond 1. And then those hardcore restrictions are going to go live. And that's when I really think ranked is going to hit. And the ranked restrictions are going to make lobbies ridiculous. And the players that consistently perform the best and are still climbing despite those tight, plus or minus 1 restrictions, those are really going to set themselves as the best in the world. So that is a long explanation for the first secret change, but this isn't mentioned anywhere on Twitter, not mentioned anywhere in their patch notes, but they had to open it up so that way they could fill lobbies. And now they're slowly starting to tighten it up, and you're seeing a lot of people get punished by SR in these tougher lobbies, which I think is good for the ranked scene and the players who are casual and trying to grow. Keep in mind, if you are a bronze player and you run into a demon, that may happen occasionally, but as long as you're consistent, you can easily find yourself in these higher ranks and set yourself up for a really good starting point in season 4. So don't get discouraged if you run into a demon. Keep doing your thing, keep improving, because if you genuinely are consistent, you are definitely going to be climbing through the ranks in no time. Okay, so heading over into secret change number 2, you guys may have noticed in season 3.5, we had the new perk packages, where basically you can either loot or even loot off an opponent's dead body. They're perks, but you may be a little bit lost as to what perks you have equipped, and you may have accidentally looted someone else's perk and you're not really sure, or more importantly, you hear enemy UAV and you're not sure if you have ghost or not. Well, now we can finally see. Look down in the lower right-hand corner next to your ammo, and you can see the current perks that you have equipped. Now, you might need to start to memorize what the actual icons mean. The biggest thing, most important for me, is what does Ghost look like, and it's just that little satellite dish with an X over it, and that's how I know I am safe when I hear enemy UAV. But I think it's a great quality of life change that a lot of people don't have into their cross-check quite yet. Heading over into secret change number 3, there's also another little thing on the UI that a lot of people haven't noticed. And I'll be honest, this is actually, a couple months, maybe about a month old that I've noticed it at least. You can now check whether or not you or your teammates have hit a gulag, or if you're playing public matches, not ranked, because these aren't included in ranked, you can see whether or not you have a redeploy token. Simply open up your backpack, and where your teammate's health bar normally would be, you can see an icon whether or not they have a gulag left or a redeploy token left, which is especially important when maybe you're trying to delegate someone to make an aggressive play inside of ranked. Heading over to tip number 4, they have drastically changed the buy stations, and I'm actually really excited about this. So they now have permanent items inside of buy stations, and it really will save your life, okay? You now have 8 guaranteed items. You have armor plates, gas masks, armor box, munitions box, UAV, mortar, precision, and loadout. So if you're ever trying to make a hero play to go res your teammate inside of the gas, you know for a fact there is going to be at least a basic gas mask in there every single time. And now it's no longer a 50-50 whether there's an ammo box or an armor box in there. Every single time there is going to be both. And I want to say, I really suggest buy armor boxes. When you buy an armor box for $2,000, you get 6 plates for yourself and each one of your teammates, as opposed to buying plates individually at $500 a pop. It just doesn't make sense economically. So a really great change there. You also have 4 limited time items that are there every time. You have counter UAVs, self revives, durable gas masks, and now instead of cluster mines, we're going to have revive pistols. We'll get onto that change later, but those are limited time items. I highly suggest, if you have the money, make sure you are buying self revives, because in ranked play, that gives up so much time for your team to potentially regain when you get one shot sniped out of nowhere. Okay, moving on to change number 5. It's also another buy station change. When you hit the buy station, our muscle memory for the last 3 years has been square XX, right? Square, and then X to buy our teammate, and then X to confirm, or just square and X because they took away the confirm. But they recently made it to where every time, no matter what, teammates alive, dead, wherever it may be, when you press square, the next thing that comes up is the gear icon. So that allows you to go into all the 12 items that we just mentioned right there. So if you want to buy back your teammate fast, just a really quick buyback, you want to dive onto the loadout, buy them back. It's a new muscle memory that you need to learn. It is square up XX, or square up and X. Okay, that's going to buy your teammates, as you'll see in this really clutch clip right here. Okay, so heading on to secret change number 6, they have changed the zip lines in this game where you travel a significant distance farther, but they also changed kind of the trajectory of it as well. Typically, whenever you would hit the balloons, you would be at the highest point the second that you jump off those zip lines. But actually, what happens with these balloons now is you hit the zip, you balloon up, you reach your highest distance, and then you begin to float back down. So if you want to travel the max distance possible, you actually want to wait. I've seen a lot of streams where people are like hitting the zip and then they immediately pull their parachute to try to glide as far as they can. Don't do that. Hit it, let yourself float up, and then pull your parachute, and that allows you to fly a lot farther. I really like these new zip lines, but just keep in mind as a player, when you're holding a high ground, be aggressive and just understand, like, yes, we're in a power position, we're chilling, no one can possibly kill us, we got claymores on the stairs, we're set. Look for mobile redeploys. Shoot those things down. It takes 2 explosive bullets with a sniper, or if they're in the process of gliding, it only takes 1 explosive bullet with a sniper. Make sure to take those things down, because they are more deadly than ever, and from a wider range as well. Moving over to tip number 7. This one actually happened, I believe, early on in season 3. They now have fixed proximity mines. Okay, I still see a lot of people like crutching on proximity mines, and they're getting surprised when they get slammed. Proxy mines now appropriately, as they did in every COD prior, reduce damage when you are crouched or proned. So it used to be no matter what, even if you were fully prone, you would take full damage to a proximity mine. Not anymore. You hear a proximity mine go off, instantly try to hit that full drop shot, and you'll take like 10 damage or less or something. So that is a hidden change that they didn't really announce. Actually, I had a dev reach out to me on Twitter after I complained about it, and he's like, oh crap, we didn't realize that. We're on it. So W change. Make sure to follow me on Twitter if you guys ever want to have moments for me to give insight to the developers. I use my platform a lot to be very vocal about this game because I want it to do well. And call me a sellout, even though I'm probably the most vocal hater in the community. The game's doing really good right now. Okay? I'm really, really happy with how the game is going. I think we're really headed in the right direction, especially for some of the changes that I'm going to mention at the end of today's video. They're really making some good changes, okay? But before we get onto that, let's get on to tip number 8. Interrogation, okay? Another change a lot of people don't realize. Interrogation is worth using now for 2 reasons. 1, you get a burst of cash whenever you interrogate someone. So even if you know it's the last person on a team and you know they're just self-reviving, interrogate them. You'll get $1,000 and then you kill them, and it's awesome. But they also made interrogation significantly faster. You now interrogate people crazy quick. So almost every game, if I have someone that lands on me and just tries to ego me for a one-on-one, I'll kill him. And then before I thirst him, I'll go ahead and interrogate him. And now I have information about his teammates. And it's not like a 6-second or a 7-second animation now. It's done in like 3 seconds. So you can use those interrogations to find other enemies faster and get a little bit of bonus cash while you're at it. Heading over to tip number 9, the breath indicator. Now, this was actually brought in kind of middle of season 3, but you guys may have noticed now on top of the HUD, you can actually see a breath indicator. But a lot of people think that you die whenever that indicator hits 0 at the bottom, but that's actually not the case. There is an amount of time where it will start to flash on top of that. So if you're really trying to play your life, just know that you aren't going to die when it hits the bottom. You got a little bit of time, and I'll show a clip right here as an example. Heading over to secret change number 10, there was actually a bug earlier in the season where you could kill a Juggernaut with a single drill charge, right? And I mean, kind of it made sense, right? The drill charge would go through their armor and then explode inside of this, you know, bulletproof, explosive-proof vest. Like, that'd do some damage, but that doesn't work anymore. You know what does work? A bomb drone. If you have a bomb drone, you can kill the Juggernaut in 1 tap, or better yet, if someone else opens up a black site around you, you can fly that bomb drone in, go in there without any risk of yourself, take out that Juggernaut, and then get the UAV. Now, they're probably going to take the advanced UAV, and you're still going to have to fight them, but at least you get the regular UAV the rest of the match. So just keep that in mind. You now can kill Juggernauts in 1 tap with a bomb drone. Okay, now these next 4 secret changes are actually changes that have only been mentioned on Twitter. And if, like I said, like you're like a normal person and you only watch kind of like update videos like this and you're not following their every last move on Twitter, you probably don't know about these. So getting into secret change number 11, they finally fixed water circles. If you guys been playing at all in the last couple weeks, dude, it's like legitimately 1 in 3 games are ending out in the ocean. And everyone is using water pistols, like the machine pistols, and everyone is like just getting pulled off to the edge of the map. It sucks, right? And I really don't think water combat should be as complicated as it is. Like, we can only use pistols, which have the lowest bullet velocity, but I can't use a full-sized rifle, either no weapons or all weapons. I just don't get it. Also, visibility sucks. I hope they make some changes there, but that is one change they did make. Water circles should now be significantly less common. There must have been a bug there. They are no longer going to be a part of the end games like they were. Heading over to secret change number 12, they nerfed pistols, okay? In traditional Infinity Ward fashion, they're going to release pistols, and they're going to be more powerful than SMGs. I think JGod did a video on the dual akimbo. Like, dude, I hate the words akimbo. It just brings shivers down my spine. They did akimbo fully automatic 50 caliber deagles. Okay, dude, I knew these were going to be a problem, and they were. They killed in like 250 milliseconds or something ridiculous. But fortunately, as you can see here from on the screen, they nerfed all of those pistols. There's still going to be a problem. They're still going to be annoying, but at least they went ahead and nerfed them a little bit. Heading over to change number 13. This is a big one. They patched the restock bug, okay? If you've been in a match and you were just getting spammed and spammed and spammed and spammed by drill charges, there was a bug where if you equipped a restock perk package in your backpack and then flipped it with the one you had equipped, and then flipped it and flipped it and flipped it and flipped it and flipped it, it would instantly give you a drill charge. So a lot of players were abusing this to climb the ranks, and a lot of players were using it that didn't need to use it. Like, there were some really talented streamers that were literally, as Raven says here, abusing it. And it was just a bad look for the entire streamer community, and especially those players. Like, they're super good players, and they would have climbed without it, but, like, exploiting is abusing, right? It's like the stim glitch. If players were using a stim glitch to climb ranked, like players were using stim glitches to grind wins back in Warzone 1, I think players should get a temporary ban. I mean, it's not like they're pulling out, you know, engine owning, but, like, exploiting is cheating, in my opinion. I think people should get, like, a 48-hour ban or an SR penalty or something, but I don't think Raven takes ranked as seriously as, like, Riot would, right? Like, Riot Games, who makes, like, Valorant and League of Legends, they would probably be banning players for exploiting. I don't know if Raven has the backbone to do it. Kind of wish they would, but fortunately, they got it patched in about 3 days, so good on them. They fixed that problem. And then the final change that I am so thrilled about is that they removed bomb drones in cluster mines from ranked. Okay, this is an awesome update. It really gives me promise because I was so afraid. I've always said Infinity Ward is like the final voice in this community. Okay, with all these development studios that are under them, from Beanox to High Moon to Raven to Treyarch, Infinity Ward right now is dad. Okay, and what they say goes. It's why we still have AI in the game. It's why we don't have increased movement speed. It's why we don't have increased TTK. I know the developers at Raven and Treyarch want this, but they're beholden to the wills of Infinity Ward. But it's pretty freaking sweet to see that in the ranked play beta, they're actually, instead of pulling back, they are leaning forward and removing the bomb drone in the cluster mine, which, let's be honest here, these are two new mechanics that didn't exist in the previous Warzone. And so they are newly generated assets that Infinity Ward is willingly pulling out to be included with things like the heavy chopper, turreted vehicles, riot shields, and now cluster mines and bomb drones for the sake of competitive. And I love it. It is a very, very promising change that I did not expect to see. But as we wrap up this video, and I'm about to show you the reason why these bomb drones were taken out. This clip is hilarious, by the way. Thank you guys so much for making it to tip number 14. I have an abundance of guides, tips and tricks, movement techs. I wouldn't say exploits, the movement techs that not a lot of people know about. They're going to help you win some gunfights. I got some cool stuff coming. So make sure you're subscribed if you learned something new. But we're going to end on a pretty hilarious clip with this bomb drone. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace. Okay, 3 in there.
How about it right? How about it right?
There's so many, bro. So many.
Where we came?
Yes, literally a full team in here.
We should go around the way we came, and then it's on black side. We should go now. Follow me.
Oh my God, there's 3 in here, bro. There's 3 in this building.
Follow me.
Down 3.
Oh my God. Where?
Right here.
Another one. There's no armor. Stunned. Knocked. Dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be a part of that action, make sure to join me live over on Twitch. Make sure to drop a like on this video. Thank you guys all so much for the love. I'll see you all in the next one.